Mr. Moyana, thank you very much for your time this evening. Sasbo very clear, saying about 40 to 50,000 members are going to be taken to the streets and essentially shut down the entire industry on Friday. How worried are you about this, and what are some of the implications can we expect to see?
Look, thanks. Good evening. First of all, any form of industrial action or disruption to business should have everyone worried. In a country that's experiencing low economic growth, in fact, in some cases even negative economic growth, we certainly do not want to see any form of economic disruption. And the banking sector or the financial sector is certainly one of those that are key to the economy. Now, we've heard the talk about total shutdown of the banking sector on Friday by Sasbo. Maybe I should put this in context. Firstly, we should not be worried unnecessarily about whether it's going to take place or not. You may or you may not be aware that on Wednesday, the 25th of September, there is going to be a court action that's brought by the Business Unity South Africa, BUSA, against COSATU and Sasbo. Now, this is precisely, I think, what we should be talking about is whether this strike or this protest action by COSATU and what Sasbo is talking about is going to be protected under law. In the opinion of BUSA, COSATU has not followed all the right procedures to make the protest action protected. So there's, in our opinion, as BUSA, is that the court is likely to interdict this strike. Now, that's just a procedural step. Are we worried about the sort of issues that Sasbo is worried about? That they're talking about that are leading to the industrial action? Yes, we are.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big ones is the retrenchments, that the banks are not being truthful to the media and the public at large about the number of people that are actually getting retrenched.
So I would say that the union is perhaps not truthful. If you just ask any bank, or the major ones that they've been citing in the media, excuse me, about the sort of retrenchment levels that they've seen just this year alone, I've seen quoted that Standard Bank is going to lose over, I think it was 6,000 people or something like that by closing 91 branches. That's nowhere near the truth. I've seen some other numbers that a bank like Nedbank is going to retrench something close to 3,000 people. Once again, nowhere near the truth. The numbers from the banks are, in fact, in the low.
In the hundreds, some of them.
If that high. But let's bring this into context again. What is it that's leading the banks to have to make those decisions about losing people? Because they certainly are not. It's not like the banks are keen on adding to the unemployment numbers in the country. In fact, to the contrary. What you would have seen is when we're talking about constrained economic circumstances, we're talking about the rise of digital platforms. We're rising about consumer behaviors changing. All of that means banks need to do something to adapt to the changing reality. Now, you know that many people don't go into buildings, the bank branches anymore to conduct their transactions. They prefer to do those electronically online from the convenience of their offices or homes. Now, that has meant that banks need to shift the way they deliver those services to their customers. Yeah, and sometimes it means people's roles need to change.
That's right. I'm sorry to come in there as you're talking. We've run out of time, but I have to get this in. Wouldn't part of that being reskilling, part of those changes? They're arguing that there's not enough reskilling that's happened.
Once again, not true. In fact, the banking sector is amongst the leading sectors that have taken charge of just those things, reskilling. Sometimes we talk about outskilling or even outplacement. We recognize that in the future of banking, some roles will disappear completely. But there's responsibility on the banks to try and cushion some of the blow of job losses. So banks are actively actively, as we speak, assisting affected employees, some of them to try and start their own businesses for that matter, who may not be absorbed in the banking sector. And that is happening as we speak. And the union, Sasbo, is fully aware of this because they're being engaged by the banks on this.
Well, aside from business and the banks there, after speaking to Sasbo, many thanks to Kaiser Moyano, who is the NEDLAC convener at Business Unity South Africa.